In 1890, workers in Egypt found something incredible. Not gold, not jewelry, not statues of a pharaoh, but cats, thousands of mummified cats, wrapped like royal children, lined up like saints, in a single tomb, carefully wrapped, precisely preserved. The scientists who arrived back then were baffled. Why all of this? Why this effort? Why this number? The answer they gave themselves was simple: religious duty, ritual custom. But that wasn't the whole answer. And the real answer waited 15 years in modern laboratories. What the CT scanners and DNA analyses revealed changed everything. In this story, you will follow what scientists are discovering right now. You will learn what the Egyptians knew about cats, things we are only just discovering. And by the end, you won't look at your cat with the same eyes ever again. I promise you that, and I keep my promises. So, back to Egypt, to the year 1889. A farmer is digging in a field somewhere near Beni Hassan. And suddenly the ground collapses beneath him. He falls into a chamber, a dark, ancient, silent chamber. And all around him, there they are, mummified cats, by the hundreds. He climbs out. He fetches the villagers. They dig, and dig, and dig. In the end, almost 80,000 cat mummies in this one single place. 80,000. That isn't a number you can easily wrap your head around. That is a number that asks questions. Who did this? How long did it take? Where did the animals come from? And above all, why? The archaeologists' first answer was animal sacrifice, religious ceremony. But here is something that many don't know. When you sacrifice an animal, you do it quickly, ritually, without much effort. But the cat mummies were treated with a care that goes far beyond that. Some had small amounts of frankincense in their bandages. Some had miniaturized mouse amulets made of faience, so the cat could hunt in the afterlife. That isn't duty. That is affection. That is respect. That is someone who thought about what the cat would need after death. And here comes the first open loop of this video. What did the Egyptians know about cats that made them treat them this way? What had they observed? What had they understood? We will answer that. But first, we need to take a detour. A detour through a modern laboratory in the year 2018. The Natural History Museum in Bern started a project. CT scanners, DNA sequencing, age determination through bone analysis. The goal? To find out what really happened to these cats. What they found shattered several previous assumptions. Most mummified cats were young, between 2 and 8 months. This means they lived short lives, but they didn't live alone. The DNA analyses showed these cats were social creatures that lived close to humans. They had no lack of food. Their bones showed no signs of starvation. They lived well, until the end. And this is an important point that many overlook. The Egyptians' cats were not captured, not locked up. They had the choice to leave, but they stayed. Just like your cat today has the choice. They could find an open window and disappear. But they lie on your couch. They choose you, every single day. This raises a new question. If they were just sacrificial animals, they wouldn't have been fed so well. If it were just religious duty, they wouldn't have been treated so gently. The Egyptians must have seen something in these animals. Something that deserves respect. Something that justifies care. What was it? I believe it was this. The Egyptians had observed the cat over centuries. And they had noticed certain things. Things that sound obvious to us, but seemed like magic back then. First, cats heal themselves through vibration. A cat's purr ranges between 25 and 50 Hertz. This range promotes bone healing, tissue repair, and muscle relaxation. Researchers at North Carolina State University measured and documented this in 2001. The Egyptians didn't have measuring devices, but they saw the cat purrs and heals. They purr after injuries. They purr under stress. They purr to regenerate. They called this self-healing power, divine ability. Today we call it emerging acoustic healing therapy. Second, cats sense changes before humans do. Earthquakes, weather shifts, emotional destabilization, cats register them earlier. The Egyptians lived in a world where natural disasters meant life or death. A cat becoming restless was an early warning system. Not an invention, not magic, a biologically grounded superiority of the senses. Third, cats regulate their own sleep and cycles. They sleep up to 16 hours a day, but their sleep phases follow a structure. Light sleep that lets them wake instantly. Deep sleep that allows for regeneration. The Egyptians, who watched cats daily, realized this creature knows its rhythm. It sleeps when it needs to sleep. It hunts when the time is right. They called this wisdom of the body, divine intuition of the moment. And now comes what fascinates me the most. The Egyptians recognized all of this without any instruments. Without a microscope, without an ECG, without a DNA lab. Just through eyes that paid close attention, over generations. And what they saw, they incorporated into their religion. Because that was the only way they could express it. Baudet, the holy cat, the goddess body for the divine they witnessed every day. That wasn't superstition. That was another form of science. But now comes the part that surprises many. Modern CT scans revealed something else. Many of the mummified cats had broken neck bones. A targeted, quick death, without pain, without suffering. This means someone knew how to kill a cat without causing it harm. That requires knowledge, experience, a kind of relationship with the animal. You don't kill with such precision out of indifference. This is the most contradictory part of Egyptian cat worship. They love cats, they revered cats, and they sacrificed them. How does that fit together? The answer lies in a worldview we can barely understand today. For the Egyptians, death was not an end. It was a passage. To sacrifice a cat didn't mean, I am killing something valuable. It meant, I am sending something valuable to where it is needed even more. That changes everything, completely. And here comes the moment where many think of their own cat. Your cat will also leave one day. And when that moment comes, you will understand what the Egyptians meant. Not as a myth, not as a ritual, as a simple, heavy, inevitable truth. That something so complete must go somewhere. And that the time with them, right here, right now, is the only thing that remains. The Egyptians gave their cats afterlife provisions. We can't do that, but we can do something else. We can look closely, today, now. Just as the Egyptians looked closely, with genuine attention. What is your cat doing right now? Are they lying in a patch of sunlight? Are they looking at you? Are they grooming themselves with that methodical care that looks like meditation? That isn't an ordinary animal. That is a being that has accompanied, healed, and protected humans for millennia. That is the creature that allowed Egypt to become a great civilization because it secured the harvest. That is the being the Egyptians built temples for, and rightly so. Tell us in the comments, what surprised you the most about this story? The purring frequency? The CT scanner results? The relationship between death and worship? or something completely different. We read every single comment, truly every single one. And your cat, lying or sitting next to you right now. They know nothing about this. They don't need to know. They simply live, completely, in the moment. That is what the Egyptians admired about them, and we should too. Because that is the oldest lesson the cat teaches humanity. Not perfection, not immortality, but absolute presence.